Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Welsh Esports League. It's Season 7, and we are here with Rainbow Six Siege. I'm Pastor, joined by Golu, and we apologise for the delay. We've had some technical issues, but everything's all sorted now, hopefully, so let's just jump straight into the action here and have a look at our groups. We're starting off in Group A with the Red Kites taking on Ghostly Gamer Squad.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting to see how this goes, right? Our group's slightly smaller, 3 teams each, but it means it's going to be really important to play every single game out as best you can, because those points are going to matter a lot more, right? One team's going to get cut out. You don't want to be sat at the bottom of the group after just the 2 games you get to play out.
No, you really do not. The Red Kites as well, I'm hearing, are looking to be the favourites. They're seeded in the first place as well. So I'm hoping this first game isn't going to be a stomp, but that would also bring us right back on schedule. So, it swings and roundabouts. And then our later game as well, Wolfhounds Pit Ponies, is going to be in Group B. That's going to be later on today.
Yeah, Red Kites looked really strong last season, right? And they had not too much trouble going through the majority of their games. So it'd be really interesting to see what happens for them this time around, right? If they have another easier run at it, or if teams have stepped up. You know, we have the off season, teams made changes, you get a little bit more practice in. It's always nice to see some of the teams, they often keep a good core together, and that helps them carry from season to season. I'm looking forward to see who can try and take down the Red Kites this time.
Yeah, well, if anyone takes down the Red Kites this time,
True.
Yeah, we could be looking at a repeat. Obviously, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. Really, it's only we haven't seen anything happen yet. There's always, I'm ready for there to be a surprise. This first game as well, Ben, will be starting us out on Clubhouse. So we're going to see something that's very much tested territory, right? We're in the standard, like, middle of the road sort of place, because Clubhouse I think should be a good test as to whether Triple G are going to be able to put up a fight to Red Kites. You're not really going to be able to cheese anything on this map.
I mean, you can do a couple rushes, right? You can try and play really quick and really aggressive into your opponent. But yeah, for the most part, you are going to get the chance to play the way you want to play Siege. And you're going to get that head-to-head of ramming into each other and seeing what happens. But again, for Red Kites, getting to start out on the defensive as well, Cameron, this is something that they're really going to take full advantage of.
Yeah, I would say so. The first 2 bans coming in then, Blackbeard and the Dockerby. I'm not really surprised by these. Blackbeard is very strong post-rework. And while the Dockerby is just all and around a very useful operator for an attacking side to have. Obviously, you can hack the cameras. You have logic bomb phone calls as well, just to try and disrupt things. And now that dead defenders cannot look at cameras for the entirety of that phone call, she's very powerful.
And a last ban to come through as well, something like a Mirror, a Valkyrie. I could expect those to be taken away, but no, it's going to be that Fenrir. I mean,
Makes sense.
I kind of get why, right? Fenrir is a pain to have to deal with on the attack. And also, you're looking at Clubhouse, right? You've got the basement. There's a lot of corridors, and you can try and lock people down in. Even on the top floors, when you're trying to clear out a lot of the roam or push back extensions, really difficult to try and do. I like the Fenrir ban. I think Azami Fenrir, pretty classic stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We should be seeing something pretty normal here. We say the Red Kites starting out on the defense. They should be putting themselves in a nice position here. Defense is often favored in Siege. Clubhouse is no exception to that. And starting off here in the gym and bedroom site as well, it's a prime place to get that first defensive round. It's quite difficult to attack. Often you're going in through chokes, whether that's through logistics or the construction door, or even having to go up the stairs or just in through that breach. The bathroom wall is such a good position to be able to hold on to that area. And if you're not able to get through there, you just have to be vaulting through windows, and that's always going to be dangerous.
They were up, but not being brought in the first round, Cam. I think this is interesting, right? And a lot of times you'll see them on the extension, either in logistics, looking down into construction, watching from bathroom towards the main jacuzzi breach, and you can see the tools being brought out by Ghost of the Gamer that you need for that main breach. They're bringing that Thatcher, they're bringing the thermite, they will make sure they have the hard breach that they want to do, but Notably, that is their only hard breach on the table. Oftentimes you'll see that Thermite paired with an ace or paired with secondary hard breach, because you want to get this cache opened up as well. You want to start applying that pressure on the horizontal so you can play out on these highway windows safe from potential swings from CC, and to do that you need to open up the CC breach. But already focusing over towards this Cade, who is trying to trick off the breach, trying to slow them down. Do it. Take out your teammate first. No, of course, they're not actually going to do that. But Thatcher making the long rotation over to go and assist his Thermite.
Yeah, this Thatcher combination is something that I'm looking forward to. Billy Ray has opened up the scoring, though, in this one. The kill onto Humble. Just Sledge gone is not the end of the world, but still provides some good soft breaching utility and also a decent weapon along with it. The EMP should go out, but Pole is there ready with the trick. And there you go, it's going to get taken away. Even without a Tuberal, this breach is going to be very, very difficult to open up here for Snacks.
Oh, and he gets it as well. They haven't put the EMP down in time. Going for the second Electro Claw, though. Come on, just roll the EMP.
Oh.
Just about goes off in the nick of time to save the breach and give them some hope in the round, but while these two have been trying to get the breach open, the rest of the team has found themselves dead, and they don't really know where they're supposed to walk forwards to from here, getting stuck outside, wants to contest onto main stairs, but Benji taking a whole chunk of damage. They know that there's aggro potential on the CC breach, maybe even sorts the brim of the hat from the Jaeger, but bounces around his silhouette. It's a flawless round to start us off from the Red Kites, and they looked very comfortable doing so.
Yeah, they absolutely did. You could see what GGS were trying to do there. It just didn't work out for them. I think it was Benji Mr. Pods on the Hibana who was on that gym window. You could tell they were trying to get that crossfire. They wanted to sort of lock off that position so that the Kaid couldn't go for the trick. But instead, what ended up happening was that they just got swung and they died. Everyone else followed suit with that as well. It's a very, very strong opening round there from the Red Kites, and this is kind of what we expect.
It is. Right, and it's kind of a shame that it was so one-sided. Again, they needed to try and get that breach open up a little bit quicker, and they didn't pay that respect to CCTV. That's where that first kill came through, right? Humbled. Playing outside, on the balcony, trying to apply that pressure in. Caught off by the fact that there is the Billy Ray on that castle willing to be aggressive, and Red Kites are willing to play aggressive. They're willing to play in your face. But I think that first round, getting in a flawless fashion, is going to embolden them to keep pushing for a little bit more, take more space, take more ground, take more gunfights. Red Kites, I want to see them be really, really greedy here on their defense.
Yeah, I mean, that first round showed that they're certainly going to be ready for it. And the guns can just come alive. It's what, again, perhaps we expected with this game. A double hard breacher yet again for GGS as they're going to try and open up this round in the basement. Billy Ray's fallen early. That agreed, perhaps being punished here by the side of Ghostly Gamer squad. So they are putting up a bit of a fight in this game as Humbled secures the opening pick.
I have to wait. They finally get there first and take down the Vigil. Alibis still roaming around inside a garage. But waiting, again, Polar on this Cade, waiting to try and trick off the Excurros on the hatch above to keep the closed hatches. But we now see Alibi running through, spots the Thinker, but looks the wrong way. Not ADS Cam.
Yeah, this feels like it's a bit of a role reversal from that previous round, to be honest, because the Red Kites, they're just losing every gunfight. They're walking into angles they don't know are being held, and everyone is dying. It's very similar criticisms that we had of Ghostly Gamer Squad in that first round, but instead it's going the other way. Pole does at least deny the flawless, so the history is being rewritten at least slightly. Has to try and find more, though. Isn't going to be able to. Ellis from main stairs is good for one, and now YNB is in a 1 versus 4. Already has the first. That's Ben falling. But still, there's 3 left to find.
Patiently waiting now. Has the mirror window, and they can be spotted through it. That's exactly what's happened. Seen moving across, caught out, and again, it's that quick movement this time from the Ghostly Gamer squad that caught them off guard, right? They weren't ready for that contention so early on the roam.
Yeah, they really were not having a great time of it there. Just not really working out. And again, it's something we so often see in this league, but it's so dependent on winning those gunfights. And Ghostly Gamer Squad, maybe that first round sort of woke them up a little bit, gave them a reality check, and this time they held the crossfires that they needed to. They had everything. They were expecting that aggression from the Red Kites. They were expecting them to, like you said, and like you wanted to see, just go a bit greedy for these kills. Instead, it was a pretty good read for them, and as soon as you have a 2 versus 5 on the site, it's so damn difficult to win those rounds.
Running back the basement though, right? Oftentimes you'll see teams, they have a round, they want to fall off, they decide to go elsewhere, right? They might go up to Cash instead, but is Cash that great? Defense on basement, gonna be a little bit stronger, right?
I would say so. So that's really what they're looking for. It should be one of the best defensive sites in the game. Ghostly Gamer Squad have already won here once. It's going to be a very difficult task to try and do it again. Billy Ray back on the vigil as well, though, roaming up above. But right now, that's a problem that Ghostly Gamer Squad, they don't necessarily have to deal with, as they're still setting themselves up, setting up their points of entry around the map.
And open dirt tunnel too, but did they look underneath the stairs? Is there
I don't know.
an extension there?
Terror Shocks might be completely undroned here. This could be very, very big, but right now, just not revealing that position, sitting safe and silent. I don't think they know. I actually don't think they know, Ben.
Getting undetected could be massive, especially later in the round. That's a shotgun in the hands of Benji too. It's a little spicy, but Polar once again showing his proficiency with the Electro Claw. There's a cheeky little flank from Billy Ray. That's up above, has taken down Humbled as well. The attack's scrambling a little bit here. They have to try and figure out what's going on. Benji, with the thermite charge, wants to try and open up this hatch, but he's still being contested from above.
This is really nice from Billy Ray, just denying that Hibana. Now very little hard breach options available, especially for those hatches. But Ellis has just been, Billy Ray's been able to get right by him. There we go. Does have the collection on the kill. And now maybe this hatch can start to be opened up, but you still have that Kaid to try and deal with. You don't really have anything to deny away that electrification either. Just a couple of EMPs on the sledge. As impact EMPs, you have to be very, very accurate with them if you want to try and deny something like this on the hatch.
Smoke going out. Again, just to try and slow things down, but there's no one contesting that angle. I don't think it's really going to end up doing anything for the defense, as they've started to bunker down instead. Think they're trying to walk out, but caught in a pinch from both sides, plus feet holes too.
Yeah, Mr. Pods, there's no way you're living through that. Ultra gets that kill. Ellis, though, doing everything they can to keep Ghostly Gamer Squad in this round, and it's now a 3 versus 3. Snax is low, though. This could be the crucial factor. You've got full HP on the Red Kites, and the time. Just look at the time, Ben. They've barely got any left. Just 15 seconds to try and make this work. YNB challenged from up far. Holle up close. The C4 out as well. All of this being denied. Everything being taken away. And it's all up to Benji. 1 versus 3. He's nowhere near. Diffuser in his hands, and the time will just evaporate.
That's how you play the defense, right? That time they didn't get caught off early. They didn't wander forwards into gunfights on angles that are being held against them without properly checking. Slower, more reserved, still got that early pick on for Billy Ray, right? Playing above his vigil, but a much more careful and cautious round from them. It's made all the difference. And now they get to go in with that second defensive round in pocket. They can return to Bedroom and Gym as well. Well, they had such a great start to this. I mean, Red Kites, look, they had a little bit of a stumble, but they found their fitting yet again. They're back on winning form.
Yeah. Indeed they are. That's the Red Kites that we know. That's the Red Kites that we saw win last season, of course. And like you said, they didn't get caught out this time. They just played honest Siege. They did. That's probably one of the best ways I can describe it. They just played honest, and they played it well.
Yeah, I do. Also, you got to remember, right? Goes to the game of newest squad in, not quite as experienced in the comp scene as well. So for them, obviously going up against Red Kites, favourites first season, a lot of this is going to be about sort of slowing themselves into the scene and trying to get used to this game, right? Not that they're new to Siege, as in used to Esports Wales or Welsh Esports League. Then we have another game as well, of course, against one of the rising other team in their group. So still plenty of time for them to get up these points and try and get some wins under their belt. It's about how deep a run you can get here, because it could even come down to like a tiebreaker at the end of this, right? If we're being really thinking about it. So getting as many rounds as you can, even if you lose, is super important.
It absolutely is. And remember, there's 3 teams in each group, and the top 2 do go through to the elite elimination stage. The teams in 3rd place also then play a game between themselves to try and figure out who is the best of the rest, so to speak. However, if you get top 2, that's all you need to get through to the semi-finals. So really, even just a single win would be enough to get you there. And if everyone gets 1 win in the group, then you're going to have to hope for tiebreakers. Like you said, every round is important.
Respect to the extension over by Cash side this time, opening up that external breach before rotating off. Still have this Kaid to deal with, but with Thatcher on the table, if they're able to be a little bit more efficient with it, it shouldn't be a problem. Want to get aggressive and test out, and Billy Ray's been punished, but the secondary swing from Type She is perfect. Going over towards the highway window, a lot of damage onto the IQ tubes, has to back away now.
That's very, very bold there from Ultra. And because Benji's nearly caught out as well, and does just about manage to stay alive. Still has the shotgun in hand there. Ultra starting to get pressured inside a Cash as well, but Ellis has been able to take down Terror Shock. So the Red Kites again finding themselves behind. Mr. Pod's downed, so could get finished off, but most likely you would say would get revived. Ultra could take a swing here, might be able to find a perfect timing and gets themselves 3. The player's still down, now finished off by YNB. A complete capitulation from Ghostly Gamer squad, as now it's all up to Ellis. The world on their shoulders. 1 versus 3. Creeping up the red stairs, has been spotted, does take down Ultra though. It's now 2 players left as the revive hasn't quite come through yet. Expecting a swing, expecting a push, but nothing doing right now. Now spots the player inside a construction as more bullets come on through. Red Kites, they're calling the arsenal. All of the reinforcements in play, and Pole is able to find that final fight. Red Kites, it looked risky for a while, but they get the round done.
Really good job again, playing this extension. They have a much better understanding of how they want to lean into it, right? And as this clear starts to come through, they go for that double swing. They're able to get it, right? A little bit early from Jaeger, maybe backing himself in the 1. But they make sure they have that cover, they have that teammate support nearby, so that it's not going to go pear-shaped once you lose out. And from there, we just saw Ghosts not able to really pull it back together again, right? They couldn't get that breach open. They hadn't really got the chance to, right? They lose a player on highway, have to try and lend that support over, and get caught in between 2 or 3 different players from Red Kites who all want to get aggressive, who all want to finish up those kills. Ultra going big in that round to make sure that they get pushed back.
Now again, GGS this half can potentially start to look quite dangerous, of spiraling out of control. Remember, they were able to win on the basement, but since then, nothing really doing, but they did have very good signs in that last round. Now to CCTV Cash because of the rotations. That's how things have to work in this game. If you win on a site, you have to play two rounds elsewhere before you can go back there again. So that's why we're not back in the basement. It will be available in round 6, but it's still a decent one for the defense. So Red Kites, they could very well be looking at potentially a 5-1 half heading into the break.
Throw out an early EMP. Oh, not committing an exothermic charge yet. Letting them replay another battery. And a third going on this side of the wall. If you can try and put it on now, Benji, you got a good timing for this. The battery's going down in time. The wall gets tricked off. You still got an exothermic, but you're all out of EMPs. It's going to make it a lot harder. Even with the Flores drones coming in to try and clear things out, you're relying on everything being taken away.
And it is.
That's the last of the battle. One battery left, right? So now it should be much safer. But a mute jammer being placed late to catch the drones.
Yeah, Pole can only electrify one side of this wall, though, which means the other side should be open and ready. Instead, they're trying to go for the vertical play to try and remove that last battery. Pole has picked it up, though, so now just in hand. It's going to be easier for him to trick, but with this vertical angle being watched from down below, he's playing with fire, really, because everyone is going to try and shoot at him the moment that they go to trick.
Things have been through. Billy Ray knocked to 1 HP, but able to steam himself back up. Very little utility with that Azami banned, but still able to have so much sustenance. But wow, the vertical angle being used to perfection.
Indeed it is, but, well, vertical being used right back. It's a double-edged sword. That the C4 over the top as well. What a kill from YNB. I mean, it was probably going to get collected by Polar anyway, but even still, it falls apart again. 2 opening picks for Ghosty Gamer Squad, but it all falls away. Red Kites get themselves up to 4, really stamping their authority on this match.
1 round left of the half as well, so imagine it'll be back down to the basements, what it looks like it's going to be. Let's see them make the full use of that rotation, right? They get cash in there before the side swap. Get a good win on it. Again, off the back of some really efficient Bandit and Kaid play, right, across all of this half. Really good understanding of limiting breaches, limiting options over to the Ghosts, and you can see the impact it's having, right? They're kind of funneled into these gunfights that Red Kites are very happy to take.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah, basement again, and the current look is that GGS want to go fast here. I mean, I can already see the blitz. If that stays, then you're already looking at something fairly quick, perhaps in through dirt. As for Red Kites, I'm hoping we see more of round 3. Because, again, round 2, they were trying to go out on the roam, but they just weren't really expecting the angles that GGS were holding. In round 3, they were a lot more certain in their positions, and Billy Ray was playing the Vigil up in logistics to try and deny away that hatch. I don't think GGS will fall for that again. But it's still a nice idea, and it shows the sort of map knowledge they have. I'm confident that if they try something similar but different, it will work out as well.
Blitz. Over by lounge door now, making their way to bar entrance and crossing through. No one in stock. Nice little bit of face checking to make sure this is all safe ground to take. But Humble's been caught out by the presence inside a garage. Secret stairs being aggroed on as well, as the Red Kites have found 2 quick kills and fallen back down into the basement yet again. But now, with a little bit of settling, getting aggressive inside a secret too, just in case anyone starts to walk forward a little too cautiously or carelessly. Ouch.
Oh no, YMBs, he's
Ouchies.
just tearing them all apart! 3 kills for the Flawless. It just feels a bit unfair at this point. Red Kite's just playing with their food, they're toying with them. They're all getting cooked. A 5-1 half there, Ben. Red Kites, they should close this one out fairly quickly.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good start for them, obviously. 5-1. Defenders had a map, sure, you might say, right? But I don't think that's 5-1 territory. I think you want to be bringing this a little bit closer. You want to be pushing to get that 3-3 split. And obviously, Red Kites are a big favourite here. They're a team that we're expecting to go very, very deep here in Welsh Esports League for another season, right? So I'll be surprised to see this kind of scoreline. No, this often happens at the start of a season where, last year's champions come in, they get paired up against the newest forming squad, they're going to have a very good run of things. But what can the Young Bucks bring in this first defensive round? They got the Bandit, I like to see that. The Castle as well, trying to limit some of this window access, give them a little bit more space to play with. As well as closing off the construction wall, so it gives them that space inside of construction where they can start to push in towards Master as well if they want to, and have a large presence on the horizontal run.
Yeah, looking like a lot of information. It's what they want, and honestly, it's probably what you need against the Red Kites. Although Humboldt is going for something a bit cheeky here. Just hasn't been able to land those shots. YNB is on an absolute heater right now. 9 kills in the game already. It's only the start of round 7. And he's just absolutely frying them. The breach is going to get opened up as well. EMP, sort of trick to come on through as the Bandit got taken away early. This is very easy access into the site now for the Red Kites. They're going to be able to pinch pressure onto the player inside the garage as well. This looks like it should be a round for them just in those very early exchanges.
They'll be able to find 2 more inside of site as well. That's playing aggressively on that breach. 1 stuck out inside of construction. Peeling away from the site and abandoning Benji to the fate of the attackers, is able to take down 1 on the construction single panel, but Valk runs out of bullets at the worst time. They jump back out the bomb turret though, that gives them a temporary breathing room.
Oh, but as they've been caught out inside of construction, it's now on Benji. Just 1 kill to their name through this game so far. It's already come in this round, and they need 3 more. It's not going to happen. Ultra is able to lock it off. Match point now for the Red Kites. And you'd imagine just getting this win would be enough to get them through to the semi-finals.
On this record, at this pacing, 6-1 up. I'll be honest, I don't see them losing this next round as well. Like, I don't see them losing this game, right?
Definitely
I can
not.
see a couple of good defenses coming out from Ghostly to try and push it close. To put a bit of pressure at the very least. But ultimately, I think Red Kites, they're so well drilled, they know Clubhouse inside and out. I'm sure they'll have something not super spicy, pretty set up, but very sophisticated coming in, right? And so I'm looking to see that extend that push out, take cash control. I'd like to see the mirror coming through for Humboldt, right? Ghostly using the tools that they have available to themselves. We saw Red Kites lean away from the mirror.
Yeah, they did. I do like the mirror pick here, though. I really, really do like it. The Ella is a choice, however.
I like Ella.
Yeah.
I really do. I think, the Scorpion is not as bad as it used to be, right? It gets memed on a little bit. I think it's actually pretty playable, especially at the closer ranges, which is what I kind of want to lean into. It still has that excellent rate of fire. It's still got 41 bullets in the magazine. And you know what? When Fenrir's banned out, I can see Griswold's being a nice little use, right? I prefer it to the Thorn, I think.
Oh, I prefer anything to Thorn.
I think Thorn's fine. We can get some Thorn love in here.
You can. You can. That's fine.
You're a Thorn hater?
Yeah, I'm on the Joe Pooble school of Thorn hating.
What's the Pooble school? Just that it's terrible?
No comment.
I'll take that as a yes.
No, it's not a yes, it's a no comment.
Sure. Sometimes no answer says more than an answer. Do you ever think about that? That was kind of philosophical. Red Kites, they don't really care too much for philosophy. They're going to go in with brute force. And it's working out for them, right? Once again, we're having players stuck off the site. Good pressure from inside of the bathroom to try and keep the round alive, but a well-timed double swing leads to a trade-off for the Legion. The last alive, YMB zooming through the map. Finishes off with a pistol as well. Hey, YMB.
Not much else to say, really. A very thorough domination from the Red Kites there, Ghostly Gamer squad, they didn't really stand a chance. The round that they did win looked pretty good,
It did look good.
but the rest of the game just kind of. The thing is, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go back on that. I'm not gonna say the rest of the game didn't look good because they had some really good moments. They got themselves into really good positions as well. They just couldn't close out the rounds. And I also am hearing as well that Benji has a level 5 account, and both Ellis and Benji are normally Rocket League players. So Ghostly Gamer squad, again, they don't have the most practice, and that was maybe a bit evident. But Ellis, I thought, had a really, really good game. I think he ended up
Some nice
7 and
kills.
7, had some nice kills in there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, seven kills in a 6-1, 7-1 loss game. That's pretty solid.
yeah, absolutely.
You're putting up numbers where it matters most for your team. You're helping them win rounds that they really, well, the round that they won, right? Obviously, a big part of that.
Mhm.
I think we're very pleased with that result. It's not ideal, but obviously, I think you're coming into this one knowing you're probably going to get taken out by the Red Kites, a very strong, very on-form team at the moment.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And you know, for them, they kind of just keep marching on. We said they look like favorites. They obviously won last season, and I mean, it's another really strong showing from them. So not really much to question about that from the Red Kites' point of view. And the good news is as well, Ben, is we're now pretty much back on schedule after our technical difficulties at the start of the stream.
Sounds nice.
Hey, we're back on schedule. We're back ready for what will be our next game, which is the Wolfhounds taking on the Pit Ponies. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Just I guess some final words about this match, Ben.
I think Ghostly had a lot of fun. Right, we saw them chatting away in chat, and I think ultimately that was it for them. Right, is have a good time, get a game in, and try and give the Red Kites a bit of a run for their money. I think they've got a couple of mates across both squads, right? So you had that banter back and forth. I look forward to what Red Kites can do for the rest of the season. I'm expecting them to be making out top of this group. It's on one rising to catch them, basically, right? And they can definitely do it. They've kept some of their core from last season, so maybe that's been all they needed to. But I think we have to look forward to our next game after a short break. So we will say goodbye and catch you very, very shortly.
Welcome back to the stream. We're all ready for our second round of games. And we're going to be back with, I've already forgotten it, it's Wolfhounds versus Pit Ponies. I remembered. It's all good. It's all good. I'm Supasta, still joined by Golu. The night draws on, and we have another match here for us. And interestingly, Ben, the Pit Ponies, their fate could yet be decided in this match.
Yeah, they lost their first game, right? While we were watching our first match, another was taking place off stream, and that was the Rejects taking on the Pit Ponies. Rejects 174, so they cement themselves 3 points very early on. And again, you only play 2 games in the group stage because there's groups of 3. So this is the Pit Ponies' last chance. They need this win, and even then, things are kind of out of their control a little bit. It becomes weird. It could go to tiebreakers if they get a win here. Otherwise, they guarantee themselves that second spot if Rejects go on to win their game next as well. A whole lot of stuff's going on, basically. But Pit Ponies, very important for them to win. If they lose, they're basically guaranteed out. They are guaranteed out.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing as well is they need to win, and ideally they need to win by a large margin too. Just in case we do get into that sort of tiebreaker situation going on. So heading into Group B, we're actually going to be, Ben, on Nighthaven Labs for this one. Bit of an outside pick, I think it's fair to say, but I'm very, very excited for this. The other game happening right now is Run the Rising taking on Ghostly Gamer Squad. So again, similar situation for them in the other match that isn't being streamed. We'll try our best to keep you up to date on all the things that happen in Group A as well. But yeah, heading into Nighthaven Labs, Blitz immediately taken off the board.
I love Nighthaven Labs, so I'm very happy we get to see it. And I think also, unlike the first game this evening, right? It was Clubhouse, it was that standard map. You got to see that advantage come through for the teams that were established, right? Red Kites having a much stronger performance, looking much more drilled. This is one of those interesting ones where if you've practiced labs, you can do some phenomenal things. But the first ban's coming through, Monty and the Blitz taken away. You still have Blackbeard as this scary shield, right? It was banned away in map number 1. Map number 2, it's the only remaining shield to play on the attack.
You can play Fuse. You could play Fuse, I suppose. I don't know why you would, but it's still...
It certainly had its uses with pre-nerf. Post-nerf, we haven't seen it quite so much. I think shields are still very good, but they're not the sort of abusive tool that they were before. I think it's fair to say.
Team Secret ruining that, but that's a topic for another time, it seems like. So, the rest of these operators banned away the Mirror and the Vigil, in fact. So, Pit Ponies perhaps suspecting that there could be some tomfoolery afoot from the Wolfhounds. They like, there's going to be a lot of roaming probably. They don't want that. They do not want that Vigil in play. They want to be able to drone whoever is trying to kill them.
Also called Vexbolts in the lobby. That's certainly a name to have. Are you up to date with Vexbolts these days, Cameron?
No, I'm not.
So it's a silly TikTok thing. So I figured you might not be.
Yeah, no. I unfortunately do know about Chopped Chin as well. That we've got Chopped Chin. I know about that one. I'm not a complete boomer, but very much out of the loop.
Yeah, a couple of fun names, but I just also noticed that Zims has added free elo to the end of his name since last season. Sure, I mean, because it's always nice to claim that free elo. We do love free wins are a nice thing. The defense up top seems pretty standard for the most part, right? You haven't got a Tuberam, which does often get played here, but you've got the Bandit, you've got the Mute, plenty of wall denial, as well as ways to slow down the drone game coming in for the attack. I like to see the respect played to the hard breach, though. You've got both the Thermite and the Ace, as well as a Thatcher, to make sure these breaches do get opened on up. Very nice to see.
Yeah, indeed it is. And just a thing on both of these teams as well. They both played in the last season in different groups. Pit Ponies in Group A, Wolfhounds in Group B. Neither of them won a match last season, and in fact in the Challenger Series final, Wolfhounds also lost that against Tribal Esports. So that will change here today. One of these teams will get a win in the sort of more recent seasons of the Welsh Esports League, as we can see now back in the action that this breach is going to get opened up. They get that open, now some long angles in towards the site already. Barrow inside of Electrical is forced away, and in fact, yeah, just dips away, does not want any of that. So no bandit tricking coming through from Chop Chin Tom. Instead, it's going to let these breaches get open and towards IT as well.
Closing off the rotation into connector as well, so they've recognised that with breaches being open, the pressure's starting to come in from the attack. They want to dip away and just give up a little bit of space. They have left a soft panel here on the rafters wall, no holes in it to contest out onto, so although Zim has taken a little bit of space, not too much being gained from it for the time being, although it is walking up quite aggressively to IT and will get taken down by Barrow, who's peeking out aggressively.
It's really not a great start for Pit Ponies. They find themselves down and their IQ gone as well. All the drones there inside of Electrical, spotting out these players. Information being gained, and there's another one. Barrow still, though, is going to be trying to go aggressive, opting for the fight and takes it well. Loach falling. Vexbolts gets another as well. Trooper Lane goes down. It's up left to Kanye East and Pigo, who is able to find one. So it's a 4 versus 2.
Dropping through sight, a red ping coming through, relaying a little bit of information, but Chop Chin gets another.
Oh, the flank.
It's all down to the Yana. The flank comes through as well. This should be a pretty swift end to the round. Champ on Wii, able to come through with the flanking mute. It was a drop down the site hatch to start that off. Gets there just in the nick of time to take down the last. First round going over to Wolfhounds on their defense. And again, Pit Ponies, they had a good initial start, right? They got open all their breach that they wanted into IT. They had the breach open into connector. But they couldn't start walking in. And there was a good peel back from the Wolfhounds that left them with kind of nothing to find.
Yeah. Indeed. Nice round, though. I quite enjoyed what we did see from the Wolfhounds. Obviously, Barrow taking that fight in Electrical probably shouldn't have won it. However, backed himself, and you can see why. He definitely had the skill to be able to get away with it. It's now into this one, back down to the basement. And again, Nighthaven Labs is one of those maps where it's very easy to get that sort of 4-2 rotation. That top floor site's basement as well, very, very strong. And then you start to get into those ground floor sites, which are a little bit more difficult to win out on the defense. So very much the standard 4-2 rotation, nothing to worry about just yet for Pit Ponies. They do have a chance, though, to try and take a bit of control of this game if they're able to win out here on the basement.
And still no tube round being played, but you add the Kaid back in now, so another tool to try and control some of these hatches. A Banshee up in Warehouse as well, so hinting at a potential extension if they want to. Vexbolt is on the roam for the time being, but again, we saw Wolfhounds pretty happy to fall back when they got contested, when they got threatened, so I'd expect to see something similar this time around, as they want to go for the single Animus breach first. Kaid waiting for the trick. You're going to need a second EMP to roll on through, and that's exactly what they're going to have. Really nicely done.
Oh, they throw a third?
Committing a third for insurance. Sure.
Why not? And they get both of these breaches open, so good use of the hard breach there. Trooper Lane doing his duty. And this is the thing, again, we see a very nice site take, really. They're going for that direct pressure. Like we saw up on the top floor, you get the IT breach open, you get that connector breach open, and you can very quickly pressure onto the site. It didn't quite work out that time. However, this time around, it's the same sort of story. They have direct line to sight onto, well, the bomb site, and they're going to be able to, if they want to, very easily get inside.
I don't know if they heard Vexbolts lurking around. Pigo was on drone. Might have had the call, but it might have been cancelled in just enough time. Now venturing out from inside of control, wants to try and look for the next kill. Find himself in yet another awkward position for the attack to deal with, but ready to just fall away. Barrow getting a Nitro Cell kill onto Zim, so that's the Dokubi gone, no second call available, no ability to hack cams either. And with the Valkyrie on table, plenty of information being relayed to the attack, Joshi trades out with another breach player, but doesn't want to venture out too aggressively. Is Thatcher still ready to walk on forward, considering no one's actually contesting down into them right now, but Pico caught off from above, as Vexbolt is still playing on this extension, but now dropping away, committing to the safety, and Joshy's still alive somehow.
So yeah, somehow he's able to stay alive. Oh, Connie, you saw him. You saw his helmet there. He just goes to place down the Claymore. He spots the helmet off the Legion again. Joshi Moshi somehow is able to stay alive. Goes for another peek. Stays aggressive in this fight. Loach has been taken down, so now it's only Kanye East. And Joshi Moshi is still up close on this breach. Vexbolt is going to be there to try and assist as well. All the pressure, all of the angles. The Claymore does find the kill. There's still 3 left to try and find. First fight is not going to be taken. It's a second round there for the Wolfhounds. They are looking fairly settled right now. But round 3, this is going to be their true test.
Moshi was well aware the Claymore was there, I thought, right? I thought we'd seen him sort of dance around it a little bit, but walks out, just trying to hunt for that final frag and gets punished for it. Ultimately, I think it was a really nice play from the Wolfhounds, right? They had that little bit of a middle for roam, Vexbolt goes undetected. The Nitro Cell was really big, I think, actually. Taking down the Dokkaebi before that second call can come through gave a lot of freedom, especially considering you had really fortunate timing on the Logic Bomb call ending as Pico's drone reached control, and they didn't think to jump it in and just double check all the hidden spots, banking on the sound information coming from the Dokkaebi's gadget instead, which kind of lulled them into that false sense of security. 2 rounds in, and like you mentioned, this is quite a big one, not opting for storage and control, which I think tends to be the more common tertiary. I think I prefer it as a tertiary as well, but Kitchen still does see a reasonable amount of play. The extension's coming through, they're reinforcing off the walls into Lounge too, so potentially wary of how much space they might be giving pit ponies early on.
Yeah, certainly a lot afforded for them. Vexbolt is going to try and get this hatch as well upstairs. Or outside, rather. It's a quick run out, you can reinforce it. No chance of getting peeked from the spawn as long as you're doing it quick, so you want a speedy operator like that Warden to be able to do this. He's going to get spotted, however, should be able to get this in time, get back inside, and everything's hunky-dory. Gets that hatch, and it's electrified as well. Champ on Wii committing the kite flow there.
I'm going to play for this vert. They have the ram, so obviously you can throw it into Conference up above, start ripping opening the floor and get a lot of sights down.
No.
Vexbolt's running through the meeting hall, does get gunned down by Pigo waiting patiently outside, and that's going to give a lot more freedom now for the Boogies to start flying on in. Joshi able to get 1 kill, does get a second injure before getting traded off. Look, confirms the kill and gets traded off. You start for the attack still, right? You lose your Yana, but I think you're happy to trade that out, especially for the goos that are going to keep replenishing throughout the round. You're going to be careful on the vert now, as it's being held very aggressively by Champ on Wii. Shots coming through, but neither landing on their target. I say that as Loach, you jumped up onto the table, you've presented yourself as a freebie.
It feels like just a little bit of just unawareness, just a bit of a lack of the game IQ there. Champ on Wii has now been traded out, or at least is down. There we go. In comes the kill. Sims finishing that one off. Yeah, Loach just maybe a lack of communication in the team, didn't quite know that everything was opened up, because there's so much vertical pressure on the Wolfhounds right now. They're really boxed in onto this kitchen site. There's not anywhere they can play. Well, Chopchin Tom is, in fact, not on the site and venting a completely different room.
And I'm going to see what they can do this breach as well. If they're still holding vert, it gives very little freedom for Barrow to come and try and contest when they go for this plant. He has a slight angle he can draw, and if he drops off the counter, he can see a little deeper in. The smoke coming through now, and that's going to give them plenty of chance to start walking aggressively up to the defense instead. I don't think this is what they were really expecting to see, especially if you lose the gunfight on the vertical. The plant goes down, and Thermite's able to dip away back into lobby. Now they're going to try and fight these longer angles, still contested from the door as well by Finker.
So 2 versus 2 in the post plant. Wolfhounds, what can they try and do? Chopchin Tom going for that long wrap around, and Connie just looks away. The pre-fire gives the game away, but Chopchin Tom with one, not the second. It's up to Barrow. Everything he's trying to hide, tucked close on the corner, trying to get this defuse. He's just batting, trying to bait, but Trooper Lane is not buying it. Takes the swing, perfectly played in the post plant, and Pit Ponies get themselves around.
Well, I'd see Barrow play aggressively in the post plant, right? Your teammate's already traded out. He can give you the call at the last in lobby, hunt the thermite down. You're never going to be able to trick him into swinging. You're never going to be able to bait it off. It's so hard to do. People know what you're listening for now. It's not the big buzz when you hit the check marks. It's that constant buzzing in between. And when you don't hear that, you just stop paying attention. You don't feel like you have to walk forward. You know they're trying to bait you in. Good for the Pit Ponies to get around. A great start for them as well, right? Using that verticality and getting that opened up very, very quickly. That's what set them off well. And even though it came to a bit of a scrappy ending, ultimately really well done for them to get around on the board. Now it's figuring out how do you crack these top floor and basement attacks, because they are very winnable. It's just knowing how.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And again, that I feel like should have been a much cleaner round. A couple of individual mistakes there from the Pit Ponies players that maybe meant that it was a bit closer than it should have been. So yeah, Ben, I agree with you. It was quite a nice round. The idea, the sort of macro of that round was very, very well thought out from the Pit Ponies. Now, again, it's going to be a more difficult task on this top floor to get this round. I do like the Blackbeard pick here, though.
Yeah.
I think that's a very, very nice adaptation.
No, I really like Blackbeard. I think he's a really strong operator, obviously, and
yeah,
a shield with an AR is a ludicrous concept, but we haven't seen either team, well, I say either team, Pit Ponies bring him yet. Zim's now being the first one to rock it on this top floor attack, and I really like it on the top floor here on Labs. A lot of corridors you can push people out of. And what was an issue that Pit Ponies kept running into? They were putting these breaches and then not being able to walk forwards. The Blackbeard helps change that, but Fenrir lurking away inside a meeting on the side has real big upset potential if it isn't droned out and checked for.
Yeah, they're going to need to be diligent with this. Gemini Clone just coming in will spot that player. Meanwhile, other breaches opened up onto IT, so a very similar game plan here from Pit Ponies. You get the IT breach open, you get the connector breach open, you're able to pressure through in towards meeting a bit more, and you can start to try and constrict these players. Unfortunately, it was the gunfights where they weren't able to win things out. Barrow is back on that dock. What's he going to be able to do this time? Oh.
Well, he's able to find Pigo. That's a good start. There's a second outside that doorway. I don't think he's aware just yet, but there is a ping, so maybe there's been a default that's been left up. Shot's not quite landing on the door frame, but Vexbolt catches a second, trying to walk in through the connector breach, looking for a third out there as well, but Triple Aim finally able to shut him down.
Yeah, Joshy is trying to creep up close to that external door, and I don't think Triple Aim's going to be aware of this. No, he's looking for it, and just at the wrong time, Joshy Moshi tries to check for a Claymore or similar, and it leaves things in a 3 versus 3. Zimso getting pressured, so many angles to try and watch and cover, and it's just not going to be enough. Loach, 3 players to find, 0 kills so far. We'll have to get that tally up if the Pit Ponies want this round. There's still a minute left to go. So right now, he's just holding this angle. I don't think they're aware of this position, but the diffuser's down inside a connector. Barrow can watch over this, and Pit Ponies should not be able to win this round as long as Loach doesn't have control of the case. He's still just looking, trying to find anything. But Wolfhounds are playing the smart. They're playing the safe. They're not giving him anything. So now the push onto the site comes on through. Pre-fires through the wall. Spots one player. Tries to go round onto the second. Finds it. And again, he's trying to check every angle. Barrow inside of Electrical has been spotted. But there's still a crossfire that's able to be established. Champon Wee inside a command center. He's going to try and get it, which he does.
Crossfire's being held at the end there, but honestly, that fell apart when they just didn't detect the Fenrir, right? They weren't ready for that re-aggression over our meeting, despite the fact that we've seen it before. We've seen the flank come through. It was mute in round 1. The Legion going for it, and Joshy, you're having a mare with these claymores today, right? When they're not there, you're searching high, searching far. When they're there, you just run into them. A bit unfortunate, but it's always one of these. It's just the way it goes sometimes. But it was really unfortunate timing. I think that's the bigger thing, right?
Yeah.
Making sure it's not there, being a little bit cautious, very understandable.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Oh, the timing was horrible.
Lady Luck's a fickle mistress, as they say, and yeah, Joshy has
Sure.
certainly been on the receiving end of that ire. We've got a Thorn coming through here, Ben. Chopchin Tom, bringing her along. What's the make the case Thorn right now? Just for the people at home. Why should they play this operator? Because here on the basement of Night Haven Labs, I'd assume you're trying to prevent those entries through the breach.
5 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, I like seeing the Thatcher as well. The change to bring the Bandit, just to add to the tricking capabilities, is really clean as well. We'd have to see if they're ready how they want to play it, right? Because we've got batteries down on main breach with a claw still in pocket. Oh no, the claw's been deployed as well, so it's going to be hard for them to double trick this. Depends on which side Barrow wants to hold on to.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's a bit of backup in case they have a floor res or something like that, or they try to shoot the batteries from above. You can use the claw, and you can also use the claw on hatches. For example, there on the Animus Warehouse hatch, that one's taken away. The EMP comes through on towards the breach, though. Barrow gets the right side, but the second EMP will mean that the breach can come through, but no Animus able to be opened up, and with only a Hibana left as well and those hard breaching capabilities, you're more looking towards those hatches than you would be a breach to walk through. So it seems like Barrow might be safe inside of Animus.
How do they want to push from this position? I mean, Kanye finding a fantastic shot through sight. Chip Chin just not ready for the angle that was being drawn onto him. We've had issues making these openings in the past, but getting a hit from the breach so early on is a massive game changer for them. More verticality, continue to ring on through from storage. Just buying that space and to be able to walk into sight. We've got to be careful that we don't see a reaggress from Wolfhounds, is what we've seen before, but already pressure on cargo stairs. It's complete. You're looking the wrong way, Pigo!
Where is Pigo looking? Champel Weave's found another as well. Yeah, sure. True Plane's getting the plant down, and Loach has found another. Okay, maybe this round is salvageable, but now the extension into the round. Cardi East a second, and Barrow's been taken out from upstairs. Loach a double. It's now down to Champonwee. 1 versus 2. There's pressure above. There's pressure outside. It's looking so damn difficult for him, and I think he's been spotted here as well inside of Nanotech. Has to rotate through tank in towards the B bomb site. Has the C4 as well, but he's not looking. Absolutely monstrous round from Loach as Pit Ponies get their second on the board.
I just am astonished. It's that was really, really clean, right, from Pit Ponies. I don't know what happened in that round, but they suddenly just had this understanding of how they wanted to push forwards. They're playing for breach. I mean, Kanye getting the opening helped a lot. It forced the defense to have to rotate. Even with Pigo going down on cargo stairs and losing that pressure point, allowing the Bandit to come back on vert, they have that game plan in mind. They want to send a smoke in, plant in the smoke, provide cover for Exo. And that's what they do. The plant goes down, you trade it out, but again, Kanye on this breach, lending support, being that extra man, takes down the Valkyrie. Oh, not the Valkyrie, the Bandit. Either way, you're back down to that 2 versus 2, and yes, you're trying to play above, but you still got vert being watched. A really, really solid round for Pit Ponies. A very strong, fundamental-based attack.
Yeah, it was very, very nice. Now for the Wolfhounds there, choosing to just continue with their rotation, and again it takes them into the kitchen. Now this is very peculiar. I rarely see this site played on this map. It feels like the warehouse storage site is just the better option. It certainly is the more popular option. because Kitchen, you do have those very long angles, like we saw back in round 3. Pit Ponies were able to utilize so easily. It just has that massive shortfall of the amount of vertical pressure you can get, and you can just cut off the site with those long angles through the breach.
Again, fighting for this top floor control, Loach back on the ram for the last round of the half. A bit more of an extension into lobby this time from Wolfhounds as well. You've got to be careful not to get caught out and isolated, but if paying attention, you should be able to slip away reasonably quickly while putting a little pressure upstairs. A slower start for the Pit Ponies, though. Last time they were already trying to open these, the balconies going in. Now we see the Rams start to fly into conference window, but they have an Evil Eye which can try and disrupt them, especially one on the long path. Oh, if the Bravo drone doesn't get it first, no! They shot the Bravo drone.
Yeah, very nice idea there though to try and get the Bravo drone, but instead doesn't quite work out, and it's being blown up.
Impacted,
there.
I think.
Was that? Yeah, I was going to say.
It's not an impact.
Was that an impact?
Nitro?
Yeah, the nitro cell's gone. Were they trying to predict someone jumping in? Maybe. I don't know. They took out the Evil Eye and they opened up vertical, which is the whole thing that they were trying to deny in the first place. It seems like a bit of a strange decision, but hey, if you have the idea that maybe someone's going to try and go for that catch, then it does make sense. Barrow's in a tricky position here downstairs, and that's the problem you pointed out. They can just easily get isolated like that. Champonwee's falling as well. It looks like this could be another round for the Pit Ponies, perhaps potentially tying things up for a 3-3 half. They're in through Kitchen. Vexbolt tries to deny, has been taken down there by Loach. A 4 versus 2, and a bit of a response on Pigo, but even still, everything is just going the way of Pit Ponies. Chop Chin Tom, what can you do in a 1 versus 4? The diffuser being planted on the site. He's locked out. There's no way through. And all he can do is watch and wait. The timer at the top of the screen goes yellow. Everything fighting against him. This would be a clutch for the ages, Ben. But I just don't think it's going to happen.
I think it's very unlikely. He's trying to wrap around. A very nice shot onto Zims. Looking for a second onto Kitchen doorway 2, but no one showed themselves just yet. It's the freezer head height. It's a shot into the shoulder that takes a bullet to the head in return, and that leaves you dead. And that's the end of the round. 3-3, I think, is a very fair half. Pit Ponies ramping up as the rounds went on. By the end of this, I mean, they looked so fluid on that last attack.
Yeah, they really, really did. And they can continue to carry this momentum into their defensive half, where you'd think they can probably win the first round, maybe the second as well. That's then a string of 3-4 rounds in a row. You continue to build yourself back up. The Wolfhounds, it's not looking fantastic from their point of view, because now they're attacking into a team that has already won a couple of rounds on the bounce. That's when things start to run away from you, and it's only a best of 1. You can't, it's not like you have a second map to try and bounce back on. This is it. It's do or die. And for the Pit Ponies, this is exactly what they need. They need to get this win.
It's going to be difficult, I think, for the Wolfhounds now. I like the lineup that we're seeing already from them, right? They've got the Flores to try and deal with some of this harder utility. They've got the double hard breach. No Thatcher, maybe a little concerning. No AMPs on the roster either. Could make opening some of these breaches quite difficult for them. They're making a couple of last minute changes. The butt going, but the Ash coming in means they've still got some way to make verticality from below if they want to commit the breaching rounds for that. Also ways now of hunting down any off-site players, not quite so common, but you do see players often lurking around the middle floor. So Vexbolt maybe leading the charge down below, and again, has that shotgun, can start to open up some of the sightlines into sight. If you want to try and do that, going up higher rappel to place exothermic to get around the fact there's a mute jammer there, makes the breach a little awkward, but still relatively functional.
Yeah, there you go, it's opened up, and with the grenades on Chop Chin Tom as well, they have another way to open up these breaches. I think the breach from Barrow actually might be able to reach all the way to the floor just from the fact that it is of course a double, so you don't have to place it quite as high on the wall. And yeah, it's going to be a nice walkable breach into connector. This should give them a great opportunity to start to put more pressure on the site now.
Anya is down below on that fen rate, but again, that's what Vexbolts is for. Currently playing up by connector, so not going down below to try and hunt down this lurking Fenrir, but instead going to be able to be used to try and clear Pigo out inside of Electrical, at least gain that information and relay it to the rest of the squad. You have nades to try and push him out of position as well if you want to try and get aggressive, dropping down below, but you're not ADS'd. You take down the Fenrir, must have been spotted on a drone, because there's no reason you drop that aggressively to take a gunfight otherwise. So really nice job from the Wolfhounds keeping their back covered, and Barrow gets aggressive to net himself a kill, jumps outside as well to relative safety. Still closed breach on IT, makes it a little bit difficult as they're battling for connector entryway, but Loach is making it hard.
Loach absolutely isn't. Barrow's been taken down. I think, was that just from the site? Yes, it was. For a second, I thought that might have been some barbed wire. And Loach has found another as well onto Joshi. What looked like a brilliant position for the Wolfhounds to be in has fallen apart. They're crumbling here in round number 7. I was about to say, you know, oh, we thought that Pit Ponies would thrive on the defense, but they're really struggling. And now the Wolfhounds themselves are finding that time to just throw things away, it feels like. Look at this angle from Loach. It's so cheeky. The punch hole in the floor. And he's spotted out Chop Chin Tom, who can dip away to safety inside of Electrical. And now Loach is trapped in a corner. This is going to be difficult, but he has the teammates. They have the man advantage to be able to try and secure this. Champ on Wii. Oh no, it's so whiffy. And Loach has found a third. Sims keeps his teammate alive. And the Pit Ponies have taken the lead.
Really, really good hold. And again, I thought the pacing from the Wolfhounds was going to be enough at the start of that round, but they just couldn't push it further forwards. They got stuck out on connector. They don't have the EMP, so they can't open IT breach either. They tried to walk in to contest onto rafters, but a well-placed FNAT above the doorway blinds them as they walk through, and they get gunned down from inside of command. Really, really well done by Pit Ponies. The setup was just so well thought through. Please, I'm instantly seeing that Thatcher come into the lineup. I love to see that. I hope that remains a mainstay for them, because I think you have to have it here. You have to pay respect to the fact that there are still your bandits, your Kaids. You can even run Tuberam if you really want to. You got to have a guaranteed way of getting access to breaches if you want to win attacks here on Nighthaven Labs.
Yeah, I think the lack of a Tuberau is something that's really been missing from these defenses. It's I don't know. It feels like sure, yeah, Pit Ponies won, but I feel like even in the first half as well, the breaches were getting opened up far too easily, in my opinion. They've only got a bandit here, and again, the mute jammer really wasn't enough in the previous round to deny that space. It all relied on the guns again, something that I brought up in that first match, where if you're just getting outskilled and you're not giving yourself the right opportunity to try and get that advantage, it's just not going to work out. So Pit Ponies, they've got to be counting their lucky stars, really, that they are hitting their shots right now, because it could very easily happen that the Wolfhounds wake up and just activate an entirely new level.
Okay, EMP is going through. That's on Animus Breach. Open on up now as well. Good entry point for Vexbolts, who has taken up the mantle of the Blackbeard to start poking through, try and gather some information, as Keybers get thrown out early to try and slow down the push, though should be able to be meleeed away with relative safety.
Yeah, Claymore on the breach as well. Joshi probably the one to make sure that they get they place that down. Yeah, I think did actually place that Claymore too. So the prophecy is true. It feels like just wanted to make sure. Although a C4 onto Vexbolts is not the greatest of starts. Kanye East is not going to be able to trick that breach either. So opened up entryways into the site again for the attacking side. The Pit Ponies do have that advantage. Doubled down on now by Zims as Joshi Moshi gets caught upstairs.
Now still flanking around. They know you're inside a kitchen. How do you hold on tight? Crosses over, but Trigger Discipline and lands the shot as
that's
Tom
so nice.
goes for the recontest. Thought he saw the shoulder and just had to double check. Now what do? You have this Legion lost upstairs. You're stuck outside of the breach. It's a lot of vert potential if they recognize that both players are out here. Though they should be well aware now with one shooting in breach and one crawling up into Animus.
Certainly hope so, Barrow. He's sneaking around, trying to make sure that he can cross that angle uncontested, but nothing ready for him to find. Pigo gets that one. Champon, we would have to clutch up something ridiculous here for this round to go the way of the Wolfhounds. It's not going to happen. Trooper Lane secures the flawless. Pit Ponies now have themselves a 2-round lead.
Presents on Labs. It's strong. You're seeing that on both sides of things, really. I mean, Pony is able to get an attacking win on the top floor as well. On the basement, sorry, as well. Not the top floor. Which made up their 3-3 half. The tertiary site now taken up by Pit Ponies. This is what was critical for them in their success on the first half. Getting those attacking wins. They won it both times. Wolfhounds decided to play it. Wolfhounds now need to show the same prowess. You're immediately seeing the Ram come back in, but a Capitao added to the lineup. I like that a lot. Capitao, an operator who I think has always been kind of underutilized, but here, the asphyxiation bolt, you have to keep space from being moved into, especially when you start to open up the vert. You can send it down into kitchen, force them off of the kitchen counter, and out into the line of sight made by the Boogies. And it's a really good opportunity here to catch out quite a few cheeky kills.
Yeah, I agree. I don't understand here the sort of aversion to the storage site here, because it's every time we've come to this tertiary, it has been kitchen cafeteria, which again from my understanding is often the site that teams don't go to on this map.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Yeah. I think storage control is a little stronger, mainly because you play it above, right? So you sit upstairs, you close off connector, you sit in server, you sit in command. You get to play that top floor bomb site again, basically, right? Except you have to keep a little bit more of an eye and expand down below, so it's a little less focused. Trooper Lane able to get an early pick on the Joshi Moshi. That's a great start for them as well. You lose your Ash, but more importantly, someone who isn't afraid to walk forwards and try and take gunfights, right? And having someone who's willing to put their life on the line, super, super valuable. Zims goes down, again contesting outside of the building so early on. Barrow this time winning the one. So keeping a ram on the table, which is super, super important, but also curbing back the deficit in man count.
Barrow has been such an important player for the Wolfhounds inside, of this game as well. I've been really enjoying the impact that he's had. Obviously, not quite enough impact as it seems, losing on the round count, but has been doing a very, very good job in this match, and obviously 9 and 6 as well. Only really outfragged by Trooper Lane and Loach. So, very, very nice work from Barrow, keeping the team in this as well, because if you lose the Ram and you're 2 men down, that's basically the round over and done with. So the Wolfhounds keep in with a chance.
Sweeping through the rest of this top floor, once again setting these Rotero drones in to try and get rid of the deployable shield that is giving Pigo that pocket of space to play behind. Had to move off now as utility starts to fly through. A Candela as well to facilitate the drop on through. Blinded and on the floor, you finally get the frag. Looking for the flank coming in from behind inside a lounge, but no one for the time being. Another Rotero to try and force out a position, but it's shot out by Loach. Still a 4 versus 3 with vert control, with kitchen control. Wolfhound should be able to go for a plant here if they don't expose themselves over the top.
And that was very, very close. There's players just nearly getting caught out as Tom now entering the site themselves should be able to start getting this diffuser planted, and indeed does start to go, but Trooper Lane denies it. 3 versus 3, tying up the man count yet again. Here are the pit ponies, and now it's another opportunity. This time Barrow going for that plant. Vexports with 1 on the vertical, now shut down, and a 2 versus 2. Post plant now established, and they can get out of there. Jump out the window, hold this plant from outside. It's so easy to do. Champion Weedo's falling. It's a 1v2 for Loach. Now made a 1 versus 1. It's just on Barrow outside the map. 9 kills versus 11. 20 between them on opposite sides. And he has to keep a barrier. He can try and defuse this. Barrow's got to try and melee. And he's not getting it. He's missed it. But Loach gets off. Barrow's playing the time here perfectly. The jump out is shut down. And the Wolfhounds finally get that 4th round on the board.
Insane at the end there to let it get that close. You whiff on the 3rd punch to not take down the keeper barricade. You might have been able to stick. It was going to be a tight call either way, but Barrow getting the better of him this time, backing away just as the jump out comes through to line up for that final kill. I thought there was a big window missed by Wolfhounds, right? They have the Ying in sight. They're not worried about a kitchen, the vending into kitchen freezer rotate at the moment. They have coverage from the window outside of sight. They should be able to go for that plant so much sooner, but they wait. They're just a little bit uncertain, and it's times like that where you just need someone on your team to say, screw it, I'm holding F, cover me, or we lose this round.
I think part of the issue there was that the player with the diffuser wasn't one of the players on the window. They had to then fight, get their way into the site, navigate that situation, which made everything just take that little bit more time. Fortunately for the Wolfhounds, it didn't end up costing them, but it was so damn close, because the pit ponies were able to establish themselves in really, really good positions.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Now you're back upstairs. It is 4-5, so some breathing room for the Wolfhounds here, but I think this is still a very important round for them to at least threaten a win on. You don't want to let your opponent go to that match point too soon. You want to try and stave it off. Add to the fact that you've got a much more roam clear focused lineup, right? You've got that Jackal again, but adding a Deimos and a Decabi, you have to be using that to go down below and root out any potential shenanigans from downstairs, right? Pit Pony's going to give over that connector wall, not investing any batteries, just the mute jammer, which we've already seen Barrow has a good understanding of how he wants to get around it. The Thatcher coming through to make sure they get IT breach open up as well. I'm loving this start for the Wolfhounds. This is just a lot tidier, but Zims is there in the perfect moment, and with only 1 hard breach operator on the table, there's no one else to open IT breach. It will remain closed, Cameron, for the rest of this round.
I was singing Barrow's praises in the previous round, but I really do not like that. I mean, yeah, sure, they can still take a guess and a gamble, but placing your exothermic charge in the middle of those 2 reinforcements means that no matter which option Zims chooses, that breach is gonna get taken down. At least if you place it on one side, it's a 50-50 shot. And if it was just a little bit further to the left, that breach would still be opened up. And Zims might have even died to the exothermic. It was so damn close. Champon Wee, though, sneaking up close, nearly gets taken down by Zims. And there we go. The C4 is going to be able to shut things down. Gets a second as well, just backing up. A 5 versus 2. The Wolfhounds have absolutely nothing in this round. They're barely even able to contest.
So what happens when you can't get IT breach? You're allowed to sit tight in the corner, not have to move, not have to worry. Heartbreaking stuff to see, and now in a 2 versus 5, how do you try and walk on? Still all these choke points for you to deal with.
Hello?
Got to kill on the bandit, trying to throw down a battery. Again, they don't know it's not needed at this point, but they swung out and given Vexports a second. I don't know why. But I guess you'll take those. Still a shield, staring him down in electrical. That will net 1, a second darting away from Vexbolt at the last minute, but he's still hunting for the remaining 3.
Vexbolt should never, ever be able to get away with 2 there. It feels like Zims didn't communicate to Loach where that player was, and he gets a second from the exact same angle. They do know now, and they're trying to watch for the sentry into the site. Kanye East up close on command center. Vexbolt, what can you do here, buddy? Spots Trooper Lane inside a connector. The swing's taken a lot of damage, but now into red time. There's a triple. It's going to have to be an ace. All this round is nothing, and it will be nothing. Kanye East with the shotgun gets match point for the ponies.
Still basement as well, so plenty of strong sites for them to hold and try and play out from. Oof. Oof, this is going to be a difficult round. Basement attack didn't go super well for the Wolfhounds last time. Cam, I'm concerned.
I am also
I
concerned.
would like to see them, especially with the 2 Brown now being locked in. I would like to see them bring that extra hard breach. I want to see them be able to open up some of these hatches. Maybe you bring them on the 0 or the secondaries on the Ying as well. The last time it was so focused on the breach, they got one open and they just shoved their head into Animus, and it was completely stopped. There was 0 success coming from that direction. I want to see them play a little bit more with the rest of the map as well. Aggressive effort being placed on the cargo side window.
Skibbity.
Our first Skibbity of the night.
Let's go.
Days since Skibbity said in all chat, back to 0. We were on an impressive 5 days since last Skibbity, so it's kind of a shame to see all that hard work from the community go to waste.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but
it happens.
It happens, unfortunately. For the Pit Ponies, though, this round I think is really must win. Because, yeah, sure, they go down to, like, not in the context of this game, but in the tournament as a whole. If they win this round, they sit themselves at a exact neutral round difference, which means that they have still a decent chance.
No, second EMP! Throw another one, Tom! Aww.
Oh, no. But
okay, you just gotta wait
the Tibral
until the Zoto breaks, and then you can get it. But they're not going to re-EMP it.
And Kanye East is on this wall again.
Yeah.
He's breaches.
Okay, that's 2 Zotos gone.
Yeah.
So with 2 Zotos down, 1 still in pocket, 2 EMPs, they should be able to get at least one of these breaches. The question is if they can get around the trick coming through. Barrow ready to place yet another charge. Where's Thatcher gone? Barrow's saying, Thatcher, brother, I need you, mate. No one cares about vending. You need it on breach. Where are you?
Oh no.
Bro, champ on Wii. Stop selling. They've given up on breach completely, it looks like.
He's champ on Wii, but it doesn't seem like he's champ on PC. This is the difference. Although there has been a kill. The ponies are down to 4 here, and these Candelas keep on coming through. Trooper Lane, that's a big C4, but the kills keep on raining through for the Wolfhounds. 3v2, Trooper Lane doing everything he can to try and win this round, to keep things close, that they can just clutch it out. Now it's a 2 versus 3. Yeah, they do have that control.
There's nothing open. This is the concern, right? There's still so much space for the defense to play in down below. So you want on cargo stairs, but there's nothing to stop the feet holes being played aggressively. They're waiting for a drop from the potential hatch on pillar as well. They'll hear the barbed wire as Champion Wii just tanks it. Both of them now moving into Exo, all 3 of them now moving into Exo. No nitro cells left available, both being deployed and used earlier in the round. Walks up through the hallway, doesn't know the bandit is so close to the corner, sees the head, but dips right behind the cover and somehow wins the one. That is phenomenal from Vexbolt. He's worked up through the smoke to get the thermite, looks down into Exo and gets the Thatcher 2. It's a quadra kill. Wait for the smoke to dissipate. Don't give yourself up. In the line of fire, you line up with the Ash and dip away. 1 HP left on the Ash, a Claymore preventing you from leaving this corner, you're tied in. The Ash has advantage, but they've gone for the rotation through to Exo. You should hear the first steps. You should be able to slip away. You know he's right there. He goes aggressively pretty far. And Super Lane aces to end the game. Pit Ponies with a 7-4 win off the back of a phenomenal round with the DMR.
What a round there from Trooper Lane to get it over the line when his team needed him most. That is stunning work to be able to win that game, because that round looked like it was done. That round looked so bad, and those defenders in the 2 versus 3, they were isolated from each other. They were not in tradable positions. So when Kanye East goes down, that's such a difficult position there for Trooper Lane, but still gets it done. Comes up big in the 1v3 and the kills before that. Everything had to go their way, and it did.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a really nice way to close it out. I think Triple Lane, tremendous effort. Pit Ponies ultimately just looked a little bit stronger, right? That last attacking round was, for the most part, pretty solid, but not having any way to contest on verticals. You don't have the ram, which would be the easy option. You could have added a buck or a sledge. You could even just add a flurry of breaching charges, but none of that available to them. So you still have Triple Lane able to play aggressively inside of the cargo, right? You can play on that garage breach and just wait for them to walk up, and eventually they have to. And he has that DMR. It's so powerful on the longer ranges, and he's drawing only long lines of sight. He's not letting anyone get too close to him where they're going to be in the advantage. Really, really well done. And Ace is phenomenal work. Not bad. Pit Ponies get their first win in 2 seasons.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And it seems like it's an 8-7 win for Run the Rising as well against Ghostly Gamer Squad. So it seems like they are going to be in that Challenger Series final instead of being in the Elite Series playoffs. However, the Pit Ponies do not have that fate. A 7-4 loss earlier, but a 7-4 win here now means that they have exactly a 0-round difference. Everything rests on that game next week between the Rejects and the Wolfhounds. That's also going to be streamed, the second game of the day. First game of the day next week is the remaining game from Group A, Red Kites Ronda Rising. That one is a match to decide who gets the first seed from that group. So there's still quite a bit to play for as well next week. But let's just take a moment to sort of decompress and have a look at the standings from this week's games, if we can. Because, yeah, it is a difficult one. There we go. We can see it on the screen now. Both the Rejects and the Pit Ponies on 3 points. But the Pit Ponies have played both of their games, and in Group A, Ghostly Gamer Squad have played both their games, so they are definitely locked in for that third spot.
It's going to make that Red Kites Ronda Rising game particularly spicy, especially because I think that's a revenge match as well for the Ronda Rising. They'll be wanting to take the Red Kites down after losing to them last season. So I'm excited to see how that one pans out. Rejects, of course, have their first seed in their own hands. They just need to beat the Wolfhounds. Wolfhounds can put us in, like you mentioned, a really awkward tiebreaker situation if they beat the Rejects. And it will all come down to, I think, round difference at that point. So having a 0, it's a little sketchy, but you never quite know how that pans out. Again, 2 teams go down, so I think having a 0 round differential, they're probably pretty safe, actually, right? It would require a 7-4 win for the Wolfhounds. Which would put them all on 3 points, all on 0 round differential, which would be pretty spicy. Otherwise, no matter how that game is won, the round differentials, one of them has to be higher than or lower than 0, right? So So I think you guarantee that second seed for yourself, no matter what happens now as the Pit Ponies. So that's pretty spicy. So they'll be feeling pretty good. We'll just have to see what happens next week.
Yeah.
Some fun games ahead.
There are some fun games ahead as well. So yeah, That's all for this week, though. We are going to head off. Things went a little bit longer than we maybe hoped. Some technical issues and all the rest of it coming through. But it's the first day of the season. We'll let ourselves off. So I've been Pasta. I've been joined by Golu Molu. We've had Ogon on the sticks. We've had Kashi running the stream behind the scenes. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you next week for more Esports Wales action. Goodbye.